And we're live once again. Best Ball Barbecue, day number 50. We are halfway to our goal with a consecutive stream and consecutive draft. This blind thing is going to mess up my camera the entire time. It's going to piss me off. But you know what? We're going to battle through it. And we have a very special guest on stream today. We watched his videos live on stream before. It's one half. We have Corey coming on from the Fantasy Stock Exchange. So make sure you go sub and follow him on Twitter. Both those links are in the description. But it's going to be a pretty normal day as far as what we normally do. We're still going to do some trivia. We're still going to hop in a draft. But before we do any of those things, let's hit the updated intro.
Welcome to the Madhouse.
All right, we are live. We are back. It is Corey from the Fantasy Stock Exchange. Living it up in Mexico, probably by the ocean somewhere. I'm stuck in Minnesota. It is 70 degrees today, though, in Minnesota, which is nice. But Corey, how are we doing?
Yeah, it's like 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm Canadian, so we use Celsius, but I think it's about 100 degrees here. It's like 35 degrees Celsius. But yeah, it's actually so hot that I'm inside in the air conditioning.
There you go. Well, yeah, I'm sure. Are you next to the water somewhere? I feel like if you're in Mexico, you're usually next to the water.
Yeah, it's about a 5-minute walk from the water where I am right now.
Perfect. Well, thank you for coming on. Obviously, it's an honor to have you on. We're gonna do some trivia to start things off. And you're saying backstage that you're doing a trivia event in New York. What is that? Is it BDG trivia or what kind of trivia is it?
Yeah. To my knowledge, it's the Flock Fantasy Squad. Me, Mason, Danny, my co-host, Avery, some of the domain guys. I think we're teaming up to compete in the event. To my knowledge, I don't know for sure, but I think that's what's happening.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we take trivia very seriously on this channel. We try anything we don't clear is considered a failure. Also, to Aaron, real quick, again, mine hit the profile picture is myself, which is whatever. He says, "I need to get Gino out of the intro." That's an iconic clip. The Drew Lock putting the backpack, whatever he's putting something on. That's an iconic clip. That will never leave the intro. As far as I'm concerned, it'll never leave the intro. But we got some trivia. It says, name every player that scored a receiving touchdown for an AFC North team during the 2024 regular season. So here we go. All right, let's just start with Pickens. This might be a longer one, but we'll see. Pickens, Freiermuth. Just throw some names out if you think of anyone. Fryer.
Yeah, I mean, the regular cast of characters. I don't know if Najee or Warren scored any receiving touchdowns this year, but I would imagine they might be on here because it says receiving touchdowns only, right?
Yeah, I feel like Warren should be on. Oh, Warren's not on here. Awesome. Okay.
Shit. Okay.
Let's just roll with I know
Calvin Austin.
Yeah, Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin.
Mike Williams definitely had one, I think, too.
Yes, he did. You're right.
That game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, Mike Williams.
Darnell Washington have one?
He probably had one. I bet like Connor Hayward had one too.
Yeah, Connor Hayward would have been my other guess there too.
We're just dealing with guys who have one is the thing now too. Okay, let's move on from the Steelers because we're just guessing. We're just throwing up guesses. Let's go Bengals.
Yeah, T. Higgins, Chase.
Yeah,
Mike Gesicki.
Yep, Higgins. Also too, not breaking news, but Schefter and all the guys tweeted out that apparently T. Higgins and Jamar Chase they're both close to signing contract extensions, which feels like came out of nowhere. It's like,
yeah,
Bengals historically cheap, but I guess they're back. I guess they're back to doing what they should be doing, locking up there.
Yeah, I guess so. Yoshi Vosh.
Yeah,
I had one too.
There we go.
It says how many touchdowns that they have there, right?
How do you spell Yoshi Vosh? I know.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Okay. Chase Brown probably had a receiving one, I'd guess.
Yeah, Chase Brown.
Okay, there we go.
I don't know if Buccaneer great Tanner Hudson maybe had one.
Buccaneer great. You're a Bucs fan, right?
I am, yes.
Oh, I'm a Falcons fan, so some beef there. Hey, 2-0 against you guys this year.
You were. Cousins did something against us. Yeah, I mean, Zach Moss might have had one. I'm trying to think.
What about like
Burton have a touchdown this year?
I was
Did he
gonna
even
say
start up
Burton.
for a game this season?
Burton had a couple like long. I don't know. I think he might have had a long touchdown. I think he might have had one. Oh, he didn't. Okay.
I think Burton he hit more slot machines than end zones this year.
Let's go Ravens real quick. Just get that. Oh, then we'll do Zay Flowers. We'll do Mark Andrews. We'll do Rashad
Likely.
Yep. Rashad Bateman, likely. Okay. And then let's see who are like Deontay didn't catch one for the Ravens, I don't think. Justice Hill definitely had a receiving one.
Yeah, Justice Hill would have had one. I mean, Henry might have had one, but he probably caught like 10 passes the whole year.
I'll do Henry for one. He had so many touchdowns in general. I feel like he might have squeaked one in there. He did. There we go.
There's Walker, the chat saying that's definitely a good shout. He had a bomb. I remember my one of my teams that we had in the best ball final had Tez Walker on it. And he caught like a bomb against the Texans or something.
Didn't Duvernay have a weird one this year? Or was that last year? I think
Duvernay was on Jacksonville this year, wasn't he?
Oh, I'm thinking of last year. Who am I thinking of then? I thought one guy had a weird fluky touch. Maybe that was just Duvernay last.
Aguilar might be. Someone's saying Aguilar in the chat. That might be
Aguilar,
correct.
Yeah.
Also, chat's saying Drew Sample got one for the Bengals too, which I think is probably also accurate.
I didn't even know he still played for them.
Yeah, my other guess would be Zach Moss for the Bengals too. I think he might have had a touchdown, but
did he have a receiving one though? He barely.
I know that's the thing I'm worried about because like Zach Moss also probably only caught like 3 passes last year.
Yeah, so we just got all the guys who've caught one. Did Charlie Kohler catch one?
Yeah, oh definitely. Yeah, Charlie Kohler definitely caught a touchdown.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised if he did not.
He did. Okay, we got Charlie Kohler. Did Patrick Ricard catch one? And then the thing you got to think about too, like there's old linemen on this list too, always. So it's like, who freaking knows?
I think Ricard probably caught one, right?
Let's go Ricard. We got a lot of guesses left. I think it's worth it. Oh, let's go Ricard.
Nice. Okay.
Okay, let's go Browns here real quick, and then we'll try and get in our bag.
Yeah. Did we do Aguilar or no?
We did Aguilar. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Cooper probably caught one for the Browns.
Yeah.
Before he got traded. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember vividly because I traded him to Mason that week, or I traded Zach. Sorry, that week in the Flock League.
Okay, Judy, Amari, we got Njoku on there. I think
Elijah would have caught one too.
Elijah Higgins, or
Moore.
No, sorry, Elijah Moore. Yeah, I don't know why I said Elijah Higgins. Okay, we probably got Ford on here. Would be my guess. I think Ford probably caught one. Oh, he didn't. Okay.
No.
Who's like their? I feel like I'm.
Cedric Tillman.
Yeah, Tillman. I was like, I knew I'm forgetting a receiver somewhere. Cedric Tillman. Okay. All right, we got another guy with 2. Who's like their backup tight end for the Browns? Is it Jordan Akins? Isn't Akins on that team?
Yeah, Jordan Akins might be the right answer there.
Oh, let's go. Okay, he got 2. There we go. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 left.
Did we guess Sample?
Yeah, we got Sample. He's right here.
Okay.
We got Sample. Okay, Bengals. Let's go Moss.
Did Trenton Irwin catch a touchdown?
Ooh, I like that. I love Trenton Irwin. Oh, he didn't.
Wow, fuck, I'm torching.
Okay, what about Steelers guys? Okay, we got all the tight ends. Who's like a weird Roman Wilson didn't catch one this year. I don't even think he's on the field.
Calvin Austin we got. Van Jefferson we got.
Mike Williams. Who is like there? Did Cordero catch one? Did he fuck around and catch one?
Cordero might have, yeah. Bengals one saying Sam Hubbard, pick 6 against a team, but that wasn't a receiving touchdown though. That would have been a defensive touchdown. Does that count?
No. It's gonna be. Was he in like an offense? He might have been like an offensive thing though. You know, I feel like I kind of remember that.
I mean, do we want to burn our last thing on a defensive end? Is my only thing.
You're right. What about Najee? We didn't guess Najee.
We did not guess Najee, and my guess would be that Najee did catch one.
Najee, all right. Oh, he did not.
Wow.
Cordero was on there. God, I knew Michael Pruitt.
Zach Moss was on there, and so was Sam Hubbard. So we should have listened to Dylan in the chat there.
Tylan Wall. That's who I was thinking of.
We forgot about Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb. I don't even know who Blake Whiteheart is.
Tylan Wallace was. I can't believe I didn't.
That was the guy I was thinking of when I was thinking Duvernay. I was like some weird special teams guy. That's who I was thinking of. Tylan Wallace. God damn it. Okay, there we go. Let's transition into some Underdog fantasy talk. Are you sponsored by Underdog or did I make that up?
No, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, drop it because I don't have a sponsorship. So you drop your sponsorship. What code do they need to use?
Promo code FSE. Fantasy Stock Exchange.
Promo code FSE. Go use it. Deposit match up to 100.
Yeah, it's a 50% deposit match up to 1,000 in bonus credit on the site. So if you deposit, I believe $100, you'd have $50 in bonus credits there. Also, should make mention too that we're quite close to hitting a performance incentive with Underdog. So if you guys are not Underdog code users, definitely be sure to check that out. I also just realized it says I can stream this to my audience as well on StreamYard. Should I do that or should I not do that? It doesn't really matter to me.
Well, then you got to make a thumbnail usually because it'll go to just like your YouTube channel. You totally can if you want. It's totally up to you.
I'll leave it on here. If people want to see it, they can come on here.
All right, sounds good. All right, let's hop in. Let's do a big board. How many have you done any Underdog drafts this year? You're obviously in Canada, so it's a little harder, I feel like.
Yeah, so it's actually legal in every province of Canada except for Ontario, the one that I live in, because we have legalized. We used to have, it was legal for a while, but we legalized, sports books, and then it got kind of sauced out of there. So, yeah, I was in, where was I when I got a couple drafts in? I was in Montreal over at the end of January or whatever, and it's legal in Quebec, so I was able to get a couple drafts in, but not too many.
Gotcha. All right, let's hop into the big board. And I usually like to let the chat get in here, so I'm going to do a countdown. Let's hop in the big board in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are in and waiting on 4, so we should be able to get this to fill fairly easily. You can kind of see all my exposure on screen right here. But you're obviously probably more of a dynasty player than anything. So and you obviously have your rookie model stuff that you've put a lot of time in, from what I found out backstage. Who, I guess, have you had a chance to look at the ADPs? Is there like a rookie where you're like, I don't know why they're going that low, that I'm going to be taking a lot of like X rookie, or maybe just any player in general? Do you have anyone like that, or maybe just even like consensus dynasty wise, like people don't have a player as high up with the model, or just your personal opinion, like I really like this player?
I mean, there's going to be guys that come up for sure. I'll tell you, I'm not hip to the ADP scene right now, so you're going to get some live reaction to me being like, he's going where? Like,
okay,
I'm just going to assume there's going to be players going where they should be, and I know there's going to be stuff that I don't agree with. So if you've done enough drafts to the point that you're kind of already anchored to ADP to some degree, I might be like, okay, no, that's just wrong. I mean, at least obviously just in my opinion, but there's definitely going to be guys that come up. Specifically, the like third tier of running backs, I would imagine, would be really undervalued. The Byshell Tutons, the Devin Neal, Raheem Sanders, Ollie Gordon types, I would imagine, will be really undervalued. And the wide receivers in the Jaden Higgins, Alec Io Manor range, I think, are probably pretty undervalued, just if I had to guess. And the third and fourth quarterback in this class, Milroe and Dart, I think will probably be undervalued too.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I would say, like, if we just look at the running back, so Tootin was around 20 pick before the combine, like 18, 19, 20. He kind of steamed up a little bit because there was some more like, oh, this guy's bigger and he's going to run fast. So like he kind of steamed up, but he was like around 20 pick for a good month, which was nice. And I didn't draft as much of him as I should have. But now he's going in like around 12. Like
That's crazy.
He's going, I mean, where is Tootin these days? He is like, let's see. Yeah, he's right next to Benson, Devin Neal, Rico Dowdle, Rashad White. Like he steamed up like so much. It's insane.
So I don't think I have enough pull to have actually influenced that, but I literally put out a video on Tootin like a week before the combine saying that he was like the biggest sleeper in the entire draft. So maybe I did something. I don't know. It might have had something to do with his testing, but
yeah, I mean the testing was the big one for sure, because it's like, okay, he ran like the combine's like an actual like event now. It's like people go and watch it in person, and they're just like, it's probably, I can't imagine it's that fun to watch. It's like they're just horrible. Running, and it's like fans. Like obviously there's the scouts, there's the GMs, there's media people, but there's also like legit fans there. Just watching. Maybe it's families more than anything, but there's just fans there watching guys run in underwear, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah, the funniest thing was David Spade joining the combine booth, and he's like, I didn't actually know anyone fucking watched this thing.
Yeah, I was I was live streaming during it. Long story short, we got banned off YouTube Live. I wasn't streaming the combine live. I'm not that dumb, but I went on Twitter and I shared some of the runs that the NFL posted, and they banned me. They banned me live off stream. But before that, I was watching it on TV and I was kind of live reacting to the 40s as they're being ran. And then at one point, just like you said, David Spade just hops on. I was like, what is going on? David Spade's at the combine. They went from like David Spade to Joey Molinaro. Like,
yeah, I think David Spade might have just like rolled out of his Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary party and was like, oh, this is in Indianapolis today. I was doing a comedy show down the street. Whatever. Yeah. And Rich Eisen's a huge comedy guy, as am I. So he probably was just like, David Spade's here. Let's get him in the booth.
I love it. Okay? I'm a big comedy guy too. Who's your favorite like comedian right now, or like maybe like just like a guy that you just really love?
So I'm a sucker for New York guys. So I like Normand and Sam Morril and Joe List and DeStefano and all those guys. Like I really like those guys. Just because my favorite comedian of all time, undisputed best comedian to ever live, is Jerry Seinfeld. So I love just New York comedians in general.
Got it. All right. We are drafting at 5. We got Underzed in here is a name I recognize. Cade is a name I recognize in here. Aaron Sandy. And I think those are the only ones that I recognize personally. But so if you're in here, don't be a lurker. Drop where you're drafting, but pick 5 here. So, I mean, I know who I want. You could tell kind of by the exposure on my screen. I like JJ at 5. And sometimes he goes at 2 though, but I think JJ at 5 is really strong. Any for like first round leans, you got anyone you like?
Yeah. So for me, this is famous last words. But I would personally rank Bijan over Barkley. The two of them.
We did that yesterday too. We drafted Bijan over Barkley.
It would obviously, when you get exposures, Underdog specifically, like you're going to take your exposures where you get them and that kind of thing. But in like a home league, if I was in one singular league and I had to pick one of them, I would pick Bijan. The wide receiver position, I think Lamb is slightly undervalued as well. I would probably lean Lamb over Jefferson slightly. Okay. But notoriously, I don't know if you know this about me, but I faded the crap out of Jefferson last year and I looked really dumb as a result. So I'm probably not going to do that again.
Gibbs
I'd be cool with
Lamb
either
here.
Lamb or Gibbs here. I don't really care.
Let's go Lamb. I kind of have a thing on Gibbs where I'm just not as like pick 5 is fine, but I need more Lamb anyway. So I think it's good to get some CD Lamb. And honestly, too, the JJ thing, Jefferson, like if we're talking Underdog last year, because I was a huge on Jefferson, which means I was a little lower on Chase. So we're like, Jefferson was good, but he went right next to Chase, which was the problem. So even if you loved Jefferson, you probably still lost money because he went next to Chase.
Thankfully, I had Chase ranked 104, so I did get a lot of Chase.
There you go.
But yeah, fading Jefferson specifically for one player who Jefferson himself said he's way better than was not smart.
I think Jefferson's the best receiver in the league personally. Like just
I do too.
Wise,
for what it's worth. He has a rookie quarterback throwing him the football and or a bridge to the rookie quarterback throwing him the football, not a guy who just threw for like 43 touchdowns last year.
Yep. Yeah. I believe in I'm a big like coaching, like not like coach speak. I like coach speak too, but more like the act of coaching. Like I think KOC is a great play caller. I think he's like I don't know if he's underrated now. I think he's like a top 2 play caller. I don't know who one is, but it's like it's somewhere. It's either him, McVay, and Shanahan. I think it's those 3 in a tier of their own personally.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of great play callers out there. I still think I'm going to probably
Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I'm probably going to be beating the drum on Mike McDaniel having a bounce back for Miami this year too. I still think he's a really good play caller. Like I know Dwayne McFarland and a bunch of guys like pulled up the numbers of like the average cross screen pass or something from a Miami Dolphins scheme versus like every other offense in the league. And it's just worth significantly more fantasy points. Now, part of that is because it's Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle catching the ball. But another part of that is like the way that they scheme up those types of plays. And to your point about KOC kind of raising the floor of Jefferson, thinking, oh, okay, he's got a rookie quarterback. We maybe want to avoid him this year. It's like, I feel pretty confident he's going to have McCarthy playing at a better level than people anticipate. How many wins does that result in? I don't know. I still think they'll probably not win 14 games again, but there's a good chance they'll still be a top 15 to 20 offense at the very least. And Jefferson will still be fine.
Yeah. All right. What do you like here? Anyone jump out to you?
Jonathan Taylor's a 2nd-round pick. What are we doing, dude? No. Bad thing. Not.
Yeah. No, I got you. Yeah. I don't like Ladd in this range. I think they're going to add somebody, but honestly, this is kind of where you have to take him if you're going to get any of them. So I'm fine with him. Tyreek's fine. I don't really love it.
Told you I like the bounce back for the Dolphins. I think Ladd McConkey for Tyreek's fucking disrespectful to me.
Yeah, I like Tyreek. I think Ladd in the second he was going at 7. His ADP used to be 17, which is like he used to go before London consistently. And I thought that was insane. And like he sometimes he'll go over AJ Brown, which I think is insane too. I don't like Ladd in the second usually. It's he'd have to fall closer to the turn than for me to take a middle second. I don't love it.
Yeah, I know every ADP landscape is different every year, but like think about where Jefferson was going after his first year, and that's where McConkey is going right now. That just doesn't seem correct to me. Like I think he should be going in the early to mid third round probably. And again, I get, the running back landscape changes every year, wide receiver landscape changes, tight ends, blah, blah, blah. It's just taking McConkey as that high just kind of anticipates that he is going to just be a dude this year, which he could be. Like he definitely has the upside to do it. It's just I don't personally buy into the fact that he's as good of a projection as year 2 Jefferson was.
Yeah, no, I got you. It's Wobby saying you're gonna make a comeback in the flock league next year. How'd you do this year? I genuinely don't know.
We're not gonna talk about it, but I literally came in dead last. So okay. Let me just point out before anyone flames me in the chat, I was 6-8, which was also the same record as the person who finished as the 6th seed and made the playoffs. I just happened to have the least points for and that kind of stuff. So, and notoriously when I was playing Zach, I benched Patrick Mahomes for Dak Prescott, and Dak Prescott got hurt against your Atlanta Falcons in that game. Yeah. And that win would have got me in the 5 seed. So I was a Mahomes start sit decision away from being the 5 seed, and I came in dead last. Like that's how close that league was. If you guys,
so did you get in? So did you get in dead last in the regular season standings or dead last in like the playoff bracket?
I did both actually. Dead last in the regular season and in the toilet bowl.
It must be really close then, because that's kind of crazy. You went for either playoffs or dead last is kind of crazy. All right,
it is crazy. Yeah.
Okay, Jacobs is falling. I don't love him though.
Everyone who follows my channel knows who I want to pick here.
Who do you want?
This is Breece Hall all day.
I like it. I like Breece. And we get a little division stack too, possible playoff week correlation there. So slight edge. I like Breece. Yeah, I think Breece is like, we were taking him in, like he was going before Bijan this time last year, like pretty consistently. And now it's like a 3rd round pick. And it's like, I don't know. I think the Rodgers thing was weird. Fields is going to be there. And I love running backs who play with rushing quarterbacks, because what it does for the inside zone game is just the inside running game in general, I think is just awesome. So I like that the Fields is there. I think Breece is just live to just kind of do what we've seen him do in the past. Not so much, weird kind of injuries like nagging him kind of toward the end of last year too. I really like Breece this year. Kind of like a bounce back buy low situation.
Yeah, I had a TikTok that kind of went nuts last year that I talked about St. Brown and Breece as the 2 safest picks in the entire 1st round. And the basis for that was that Breece literally was a top 6 running back coming off of a blown ACL as a 2nd-year player with Zach Wilson and Tim Boyle as his quarterbacks and one of the worst offensive lines in the league. So my thought was, okay, well, how could this not be better? You have Aaron Rodgers, offensive line upgrades, all this stuff. Part of me is like, is this just a total vibe situation? Like, have you guys ever worked for like a douchebag boss and you just like don't want to work hard as a result of that? Like that was almost like what happened to Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson this year, where like we know they're better than this. They just had such disappointing seasons because of what took place in New York. I mean, if Saleh doesn't get fired, pushed out by Aaron Rodgers, I feel like the offense might have bounced back a little bit. They also had one of the worst play callers in the league. I think all of us can agree on Nathaniel Hackett being a complete train wreck. Breece in 2023 led all running backs in targets too. Now that could change with Justin Fields. He's probably not going to throw the ball as much to the running back position as, Aaron Rodgers or Zach Wilson or whatever did. But I don't know. Like you said, if the efficiency is the problem, which it was last year, then having a rushing quarterback like Justin Fields should help with that. And also just having some adults call plays would be helpful and run the team.
Yeah. Who's calling plays in New York again? Do you know?
He's like a Ben Johnson disciple that Aaron Glenn brought in from Detroit.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's fine with me then. We'll see. I kind of like some like the unknown play callers. It's like, let's see what these guys got. Let's see. Like, I wonder if Ben Johnson just starts his own tree. Is he just gonna have his own tree now? Like, is he like gonna be like a Shanahan, or is he gonna be like I don't even know who's like another hot, like a Nagy, where it's just no tree at all. It's gonna be one of the others. So, okay. Breece, CD, Tyreek. Weird receiver range. DK kind of fall. He was at his ADP was 44 at the time of the trade. I suspect he probably falls a little bit more than that. Feels like he kind of belongs more in this tier, maybe, but we'll see.
Yeah. Here's my rule. This is my rule this year, and he just went, so it actually sucks. And speaking of Seinfeld, that guy's name is Kramer that took him. My rule is late round quarterback unless it's a rushing quarterback this year.
You
That's
like
my
Hampton?
rule. I do like Hampton quite a bit. I would personally go with Devontae Smith here, but I'm cool grabbing another running back if you want to grab one.
We kind of need another receiver anyways. Let's just go with the Smith thing. I like Hampton because like the ADP discrepancy between Hampton, who like is kind of a 4-5 turn pick, and Genty, who went in the first round, is just like I think the real life talent gap, the real life where they're going to get drafted gap is a lot smaller than what these ADPs would suggest, because Hampton goes there and then like just like a little bit later you got Henderson. I think Henderson, I'd be shocked if he snuck in the first round. He could, but I just think Hampton's Hampton's got 3 down workhorse size, speed, all that stuff. I don't think Henderson is like they literally couldn't even do it at Ohio State. They went out and got Judkins. They're like, we need a guy who's like the bruiser. That's what Judkins was. And Henderson, it's like I use it all the time, but it's the Monty Gibbs thing, just on a different scale. It's pretty much what it is. So, Henderson got all the explosive touches, receiving game work a little bit more. Judkins actually did catch quite a few balls this year, though, which I was pleased to see. But I think the gap between Hampton and Genty, and then the gap between Hampton and Henderson, like I think Hampton should go, closer in like this Cook, Jacobs, Brees range, in my opinion, or maybe like over here.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I actually personally have Judkins ranked over Hampton.
In
my own grades, but Hampton in my prospect model disagrees with me. My prospect model thinks that Hampton is better than Judkins. My thing with Judkins is like, how often do you get a guy who is just consistently a top 5 running back in college football and was asked to do so many different things? Like he was the dude at Ole Miss, obviously, and he got the explosive touches that Henderson got at Ohio State. But then when he was asked to do at Ohio State, he did exactly what he was supposed to, and he was automatic on the goal line. He's an exceptional athlete. And a lot of people didn't expect that. I definitely expected him to test pretty well there. So I don't know. I don't know where Judkins goes, but he's probably going to be a target of mine in these drafts for sure.
Yeah, he goes a little later. He goes after Henderson.
Okay, so yeah, that's definitely to me a market discrepancy. Again, it's hard because Henderson catches so many passes and stuff. Fantasy wise, it's challenging, but I'd be cool grabbing Kittle here. We could grab Waddle and stack this up for Miami.
Yeah.
To me, that makes sense if we go play for the Miami bounce back. And I guess we don't know. We won't know the week 17 correlations yet, but I mean, we got divisional correlation across the board here with Smith and Lamb, and then the Jets with the Dolphins. So if they play each other in week 17, that'll be nice.
Yeah, let's do Waddle. I'm down for Waddle. I like him. I hope he's just better this year. I hope the offense is just better this year. Like you said, I like McDaniel a lot because I was in on Tyreek last year. I was like, nothing, like they got Jonnu, but like what else has changed really? You get just a weird year in Miami overall. But now it's like the only thing that scares me, it's like when Tyreek and Waddle were doing their thing, they were the only guys catching passes. It was just Tyreek and it was just Waddle. No tight ends, limited running back kind of stuff, maybe Mostert, Achane, maybe that first year. But then last year we see Achane, like Achane's pretty much a slot receiver now. Like he plays running back, but he's also a slot receiver. Like they line him up at receiver all the time. So he's catching passes. And then you got Jonnu, who's like, he's back for another year. And like what he kind of did down the stretch was, incredible. So it's like, now you got like 4 guys, like 4 legitimate pass catching threats. So like, I'm curious to see how that breaks down in terms of like what the final numbers are for each guy this year.
Yeah, I think I've seen people talk about schematically why the Dolphins seemingly disappointed across the board outside of like Achane and Jonnu. And I think the offensive line was a major part of that because a lot of their designed routes for Tyreek and Jalen Waddle are more longer developing routes. And also, I mean, you didn't have your quarterback for like 7 or 8 games this year with Tua. So I don't know. For me, like I had Tyreek borderline ranked 101 going into last season. Like he was literally the MVP frontrunner in my estimation before getting hurt in 2023. He had he played with like a broken wrist last year. Like I get that Jonnu looked like he contributed more, but to me that was kind of more out of necessity than anything. Like I'm not really worried that Jonnu Smith is going to take away targets. And in fact, I don't know where Jonnu goes, but I imagine he's probably overvalued from where I'm probably going to rank him.
He's like tight end 7 right now, I think.
That's absurd. There's no way I would take him that high.
I love Jonnu. Falcon.
People do the like, oh, he only produced because those guys are injured about good players, but they don't do it about guys like Jonnu Smith who've been like irrelevant for 8 years of their career.
Yeah. Hey, don't disrespect the boy Johnny like that. He
Judkins would be my pick
outproduced.
here.
Yeah, I like Judkins. I love Judkins in this range. He's my most drafted, I think just player in this range except Ridley. I like Ridley a lot at price. Okay, let's go Judkins. I love it. I was so in on Jonnu last year. I just kind of have like a soft spot in my heart for Jonnu because he, had like 20% of him. I loved him last year because it's like what he was the missing link for McDaniel, that Niners offense, that McDaniel's offense is like it's all yak, and that's Jonnu's game. Jonnu's not routing anybody up. He's not the Kelsey type of receiver. He's not like an Evan Ingram type of guy where it's like long like farther ADOT routes. It's more like get the Jonnu the ball in space and let him just be a running back. He kind of wasn't kind of how he always should have been used in Tennessee. He kind of was using Atlanta that way a little bit. He actually, I think he outproduced Kyle Pitts that 1 year. Everyone was begging for Kyle Pitts, but it was it turned out like maybe Arthur Smith wasn't crazy. Jonnu's the guy.
Yeah. By the way, my attitude about tight end is going to be the exact same as quarterback, which is unless they're an absolute stud, I'm just going to draft 3 of them late.
Okay. I like it.
Because I've been doing that the last 2 years, and it's been like an extremely profitable strategy, getting guys like Jonnu last year where you just drafted him as your 3rd tight end and kind of hoped for it. I had like bags upon bags of like Cade Otton too, who was like a pretty positive advance rate guy. Mm-hmm. I don't know, unless I'm getting Bowers or like McBride and those guys, and like a lot of people swung and missed on Kelsey, myself included last year, in terms of what he was supposed to be relative to where you had to draft him and stuff. I don't know, man. I think tight end's just kind of a wasteland of a position, to the point that I'll just throw at it in numbers, and unless I get a nice value on, Kittle or Hawkinson or Laporta or those guys.
Let's pick right here. Some receivers. Golden. I like Golden because I think he goes high in the NFL draft. I don't know. Maybe
Igbuka is my 3rd highest rated rookie in the class. So I would vote for Igbuka right now.
To Igbuka. Well, so the model loves Igbuka is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, the model likes Igbuka. Here's the thing. I'm so done with people projecting ceilings. It's so irritating at this point when it comes to prospects. Igbuka is in a category or a clump of receivers that puts him in like very, very respectable company when it comes to the types of prospects he's being compared to. So for me, the model compares him to like DJ Moore, Rashad Bateman, Marquise Brown, Jalen Waddle, Jordan Addison. Like, you're talking about a pretty nice bucket of prospects. And by the way, Emeka Igbuka has played with some of the best wide receiver prospects we've seen ever. Harrison, Jeremiah Smith, JSN, Garrett Wilson, and Chris Olave have been on the roster when Emeka Igbuka has been on the team. Mm-hmm. He was a 5-star recruit. We'll see what he tests like at his pro day, but I guarantee it'll be the same exact shit as Quinshon, where people think he's like a bad athlete. And we're like, oh, that's why he was like the number 1 recruit in the country as a wide receiver. He's a great athlete. He was asked to play a role. That role was occupied by JSN for a bit. Then he played that role. He's a better athlete than JSN. You can see it clear as day on the film. And Emeka Igbuka is going to be, once he tests at his pro day, a guy that people suddenly start hearing rumors. Oh, he's the wide receiver 1 in the class. He's out of sight, out of mind right now. There's a reason Matthew Golden is being talked about like that. And Tet McMillan, who hasn't tested, and Emeka Igbuka, who hasn't tested, and Travis Hunter, who hasn't tested, aren't being talked about like that right now. This is the way the media brain trust kind of works in the NFL. And to me, I look at Igbuka, I'm like, dude, Denver at 20, Los Angeles at 22. There's a bucket of teams. Houston back with CJ Stroud. There's a bucket of teams that are going to draft Emeka Igbuka, and his ADP, if he gets drafted to any of those teams, will be a 4th or 5th rounder.
So you said you think Igbuka is a better athlete than JSN. Do you think he's a better prospect than JSN overall?
So the model thinks that JSN is the better prospect.
Okay.
Part of it is, when JSN was being funneled those PPR targets, he had CJ Stroud. Igbuka, the 1 year that he had CJ Stroud, had his best season. So it's difficult to kind of nail down exactly what's happening with the 2 prospect profiles. But again, the model loves Emeka Igbuka, and the model doesn't have the knowledge that he played with Jeremiah Smith and Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
Like, it does to some degree. I have adjustments in it for who you play with, but it doesn't do wonders to your prospect model. It adds a little bit.
Okay. We don't have QB yet. Anybody that's Kyler, Bo Nix, Goff? Not really. Warren's here. I GTN for a bounce back. Pollard's fine too. Anyone that stands out?
I personally don't mind Andrews for a bounce back either.
Okay.
I'm cool with whatever. If you want to capitulate, I don't really care with this pick. There's a couple decent options here.
I want to go for upside. Let's go Warren on this one because I'm praying he doesn't end up in Indianapolis. That's like the one place I don't want him to go. But if he goes anywhere else, like I think he's gonna be a hit, a huge hit.
Frankly, I think we just stacked him with his teammate.
With who?
Brees.
Oh yeah, that'd be fine. That'd be fine with me. Justin Fields. Yeah. I feel like Justin Fields gave Cole Kmet some good years there. A lot of touchdowns.
Cole Kmet also, by the way, every year of his career is a positive best ball pick. Just saying. He has like 3 2-touchdown games a year.
Love Cole Kmet. He goes late. Right now, like where is he? He is the tight end 21.
On no planet would I ever draft him in a redraft league, but as a best ball asset, he's actually been extremely valuable.
Yeah. Okay, I wanted to ask you this question earlier because I just want to see. So you talked about drafting late tight ends. If you're not getting one of the top guys, just take 3 late ones. Which round do you think Mason Taylor and Elijah Arroyo go?
If I had to guess?
Good to guess. What round do you think they go in?
Like very late, probably like 17th round plus.
Yeah, 20th round. They're 20th round picks.
Yeah, those guys are going to be bona fide top 50 to 64 picks for sure.
That's what I'm saying. So so let's see here. Yeah, Mason Taylor 234. He's tight. He's tight end what? 35. Arroyo's right ahead of him at tight end 34, and they go right next to Ben Sinnott.
Right? Yeah, it's pretty dusty. For what it's worth, I wanted Andrews with our last pick. I'd be cool going bully if you want to, and then being done.
Yeah. Know what?
It's a 20-round draft though, right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So we can even go 3 tight ends still if we really wanted to. We're kind of even across the board. Let's just do it. Let's bully it.
This range is kind of dusty right now, so
yeah, it's kind of a weird range where it's like some weird receiver. So Hunter goes 112. What that's
insane. That's insane. We have to pick him with our next pick. That is insane.
Oh, okay. So you like Hunter there because there's some people. It's the best ball community. It's like you got like 15% of them or you got 0. There's no in between. No one's got. I think I might have like 9%. But I like Hunter. I think he's because here's my thing. Right now, like if he goes to the Pats, especially after they just signed, Hunter just went, so we didn't get him. But anyways, if he goes to the Pats, Carlton Davis just signed there. They have Christian Gonzalez. Like, why in the hell would he play corner? And you're not drafting people like, oh, you play slot corner. They're not going to draft a slot corner at 4th overall. That's just not going to happen. So like maybe I think if he goes to the Pats, like all this stuff they've been talking about, like we want a receiver, we want a receiver, we want a receiver. Go get Travis Hunter, who many people think he's like the best just receiver prospect. If he just played receiver, just play him at receiver then, because that's what you need anyway. Like if he goes to the Pats, like that's going to be such a good landing spot for Hunter in terms of fantasy football.
So here's my take on this. There's a 75% chance he plays wide receiver.
Okay, why 75?
That could draft him. Cleveland has literally said they rank him as a wide receiver, and they are the first team with the opportunity to draft him. So if they don't pick a quarterback, and we actually dropped a mock draft on our channel today where they took Hunter at 2 and they traded back in the first round for Shadur. So they paired the 2 guys up together, which I think could happen if they were to take Hunter at 2, because I think Shadur is probably more likely a late first round pick.
That would break the internet.
It would break the internet, and Cleveland needs some excitement on their franchise right now because they've been a factory of sadness for my entire lifetime. But Travis Hunter goes to Cleveland. He's playing wide receiver. Like it's literally been said by the GM. They also have a good secondary already. They could use another wide receiver. Makes total sense.
Yeah.
The team that we got to be scared of is the Giants, because the Giants would probably play him at cornerback because they have a bigger need at that position. And also they re-signed Darius Slayton and have Malik Neighbors. Wandale's a slot receiver. So it's probably likely that they would play him at cornerback. Number 4 to the Patriots. 4 to the Patriots, you just made the case for. Yes. They would probably play him at wide receiver. Jacksonville needs a wide receiver now because they jettisoned Christian Kirk. They also could use him at corner. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if they were the team that's like, hey, we'll play him both ways and see what he can handle and that kind of thing. And then number 5 number 6 on the board is the Raiders, who also probably would play him at wide receiver as well.
Yeah, 100%. I could totally see the people want to see him play receiver. They don't want to see him play corner. And I feel like Vegas gives the people what they want. They're like, we're gonna play this guy receiver. That's the Davis way. That's the Al Davis, Mark Davis way.
Yeah. If we get word that he's playing receiver, by the way, he's like a pick in the 30s, realistically.
Yeah, who would you take for if you knew for a fact he was just playing receiver?
I would take him over McMillan if that's what
That's what I was going to ask. Yep, that's what I was going to ask. Okay, all right, good to know. Okay, we probably need. Do we just go Dak here? Just get it. Not even risk it?
Prescott's a good pick there. Yeah, I think that's totally fine with me.
Yeah, we got CD. We don't have any. Yeah, let's just go Dak. Not.
Yeah, we got to mix in some veterans too. We're getting a little rookie happy.
Yeah, who do we got? We got Quinshawn and Mecca. Well, yeah, it's fine. There's a fun stat where like so the last 2 big board winners, one of them had I think it was 8 rookies on the winning team, and like the year before that had 0. So it's like okay, well, like what do we do with that information?
Yeah. The one thing I forgot to say about Ibuka too was the reason I said I'm sick of people talking about ceiling at the beginning of that take was people said that Justin Jefferson would only be a slot receiver. People said that Chris Olave didn't have a high ceiling. People said that Jordan Addison didn't have a high ceiling. Like all these people keep saying that a receiver who plays in the slot or a receiver who is limited to be a number 2 because he was a number 2 in college, like Emeka Ibuka was, can't be a number 1 in the NFL. And I'm frankly kind of getting sick of missing on, like I missed on Olave. I was one of those people that said, yeah, I think he's probably like Tyler Lockett at best, which is also for what it's worth, like a really good receiver that I probably shouldn't have been downplaying. But I was excited about like when Jefferson came out, it was like my first year making content. I was like, dog, Jefferson's a dude. He can play on the outside. And I'm glad I was right on that, obviously. So when I look at Ibuka, just because he didn't do something, I guess is my point, doesn't mean he can't do something. He was asked to play a big slot role in college, doesn't mean he can only play a big slot role in the NFL. And for what it's worth, if he goes to like Denver or something, he'll probably play that role anyways.
Yeah. Quick Cooper Kupp question. You think he's cooked? Is he done? Or has he got something left?
I think if Sean McVay thinks he's done, he's probably done. That would be my take on Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. I like that. I don't have a lot of Kupp. Where is it? Where he goes right around here. Maybe he already went. Maybe she might already went. Okay. Could use a running back. This is a really bad running back range though.
I don't mind. We didn't get ETN, did we?
We did it. You want to go Bixby?
Yeah, I actually I'm a little nervous that ETN might be just like straight up lose his job this year.
To tank Bixby.
I do, yeah. So I actually am a little bit uniquely qualified to talk about this because I watched my starting running back of my favorite team lose his job to the backup running back for this very coordinator in Liam Cohen. And what I know about Liam is he likes decisive runners. And what I know about Travis Etienne is over the last 2 years, he has not been that way. And Tank Bigsby is just very simple, get downhill, create yards, fall forward, like Cohen liked about Bucky Irving. And Rachaad White was not like that. He was more of like a patient kind of style runner. And even though Tampa had the offensive line that you can kind of facilitate a runner like that, it's not the type of running back that Liam Cohen likes. And I think Tank Bigsby will be, by the time we get to training camp and all this kind of stuff, we're gonna hear some real drum beats that he's gonna start for this team.
We'll see. I loved ETN last year. He sucked. I think he's still a good talent. I just feel like I think ETN, he just feels like the more explosive guy. And that's what Bucky felt like to me. Where like Bucky's the more explosive guy. I feel like Tank Bigsby has some long runs. There's something about ETN where like I can see like he was so good like 2 years ago and he got hurt toward the end of the year. I get it. But like I'm not ready to give up on ETN yet. I'm still in on him. I still really like him. And I think hopefully just the offense being more, just organized with not Doug Peterson do. And like Doug Peterson gets the blame, but like the guy that I hate is Press Taylor. Press Taylor is awful. And we knew he was awful. And Peterson should have fired him going into last year. And he didn't. I don't know why he didn't, but I think Press Taylor was more the problem than Peterson overall, but whatever. Now they got Cohen, and I'm sure you're sad about that. The whole thing that went down.
Yeah, I think he's kind of a jackass for the whole way it went down. But honestly, maybe this is copium. The offensive coordinator, Josh Grizzard, that we promoted, called third downs for us last year. So his only play calling experience was calling the best third down offense in the NFL. So
I didn't know
I'm
that.
not really that worried about it, to be honest. If I'm Tampa Bay, Bucky Irving drafter, X, Y, and Z. And for what it's worth, Tank Bigsby had 2 more explosive runs than Travis Etienne last year on less carries. And he also had an explosive rating by Player Profiler that was top 14 in the NFL. And Etienne's was 33rd. So
there we go.
I just think Tank Bigsby, like the NFL kind of stands for not for long at that position. And Travis was, I've been scarred by reinvesting into running backs who I think will bounce back. Not that ETN's old. He's only 26 years old. I think that position just passes people by pretty quick in the NFL. And Bigsby's the ascending player, and ETN, at least as of now, is the descending player. So I'm just a little bit scared off of him.
All right, we could go Tua here.
You gotta grab Tua probably.
Yeah. Trey Harris has fallen quite a bit, but not as much where I'm in on him.
Yeah, that's fine.
Tua's fine. Yeah, Tua. So we got Tua and Dak. Tua and Dak is fine. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we grab like a rushing upside guy later on.
Yeah, okay. Fields already went. Fields was like a 17th round, not 7, like he was like 15, 16, 17, somewhere in there forever. And then he signed. It's like, oh, now we have to draft Fields, where it's like, that seems kind of bad. It's like, we knew wherever he signed, as long as he's a starting quarterback, like he was going to rocket ship up. He's gone up like 8 rounds. So I don't understand.
I figured that would probably happen when it comes to Justin Fields. It's like, if he's going to start for a team, he's going to be valuable, but like, how long does he hold the job? And at least with the Jets, the contract and the fact that they have Tyrod Taylor as their backup would indicate that he should probably start most of the year. I want the Jets to choose chaos and draft Jalen Milroe in the second round. And just like, we'll just run wing T with these two quarterbacks and Brees Hall. Would be hilarious.
Yeah. Tell you what, I know too much about the wing T. Minnesota high school football. So I coach Minnesota high school football, and these farm teams that it's power T, wing T, and I cannot stand it. I can't stand watching it. It's like no receivers. So like if you're a receiver at the school, like you're just playing DB. Because there's no receivers for you to play. Because you're either every single person other than the quarterback has their hands in the dirt. It's unbelievable.
That's insane.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, this is an interesting range of players too that I don't really know what to do with. I mean, we have Prescott. We already invested in 2 tight ends. Never mind.
Yeah, probably. Not. So this is the rookie running back range that we're kind of getting into now. So now we're looking at Samson. We're looking at Giddens, Harvey down here, Gordon, these kind of guys. I'll say receiver wise too.
Call me crazy, but Rachaad White's probably the best projection on the board right now. He was literally a top 24 running back in points per game last year.
I like Rachaad. Let's go Rachaad. I have a decent amount of Rachaad White, and probably should slow down on Samson a little bit. I like Samson, but not as much as my exposure would suggest. So I like Rachaad White there too. And also too, Emo Cowboy, dude, fuck off, man. My it's windy. This window's weird when it gets windy. So dude, just slow your roll.
Yeah. I mean, speaking on Rachaad quickly, like as a Bucs fan, I can promise you that they're not going to give Bucky Irving 350 touches next year. Like they will not. It won't happen. Like he will probably have the same role that he had down the stretch last year. And like, if you look at Rachaad White's game logs, like he still produced in those games, even though he wasn't the starter. And like, especially from a best ball standpoint, like he has a standalone role as a pass catcher because he is a much better pass blocker than Bucky Irving is. And if anything happens to Bucky Irving, who's a small back, he would probably win people leagues and be one of the best picks in all of best ball. Like think about what Chuba Hubbard was last year to Jonathan Brooks. Rachaad White has finished as an RB1 in points per game before, and he's 25 years old or whatever. Like, and he's on one of the best offenses, at least, efficiency wise last year. We'll see how they carry that over into this year. Like, I don't know. To me, he's like a very solid standalone. You'll get 5 to 6 good weeks out of him pick, and then has a lot of implied upside if anything happens to Irving. Even if it's just for like a month or something, he would probably be in our weekly rankings like a top 15 guy. Yeah.
I like the way you started that rant where like, he's not going to get it. It's not going to happen. It's never, it's, have you seen that meme where it's like, I don't know what show it's from. And the chat gets mad at me when I date them, but it's like, it was made up. It's a fairy tale. This one was invented by a writer. Have you seen that meme where it's a Twilight Zone, baby? I don't know what it is, but that's
it. Almost briefly sounded like the McConaughey take from Wolf of Wall Street. There, it's fairy tale or whatever. But
it's fairy. It
is no matter.
Yeah. All right. Looks like Emo Cowboy, drafted a bigger board or auto drafted a bigger board. That's tough. You hate to see it for such a not
structurally.
Good
are we screwed right now? Like, where are we at?
Oh no, we're good, dude. 2, 4, 5, 2. This is pretty balanced. Probably definitely need to start thinking receiver a little bit here, but by no means are we like backed into a corner. We kind of started off going heavy receiver, so we're pretty like Ibuka's our 5 feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's see. I like Algier just from the love Harvey.
I'm gonna probably lean us towards wide receiver here if we can, just because I fear we're gonna be screwed at wide receiver late in the draft versus running backs. There's gonna be tons of rookies to swing on.
Yeah, who you like here?
Oh man, it's kind of gross already. I like Io Manor. The model likes Io Manor. We could go in that direction.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a number of guys that make sense here for me at wide receiver, but Io Manor is probably the best one.
Let's go Io Manor. Do you think so why does the model like Io Manor? Because I feel like Io Manor, like everyone's like the only thing he did was bitch Travis Hunter 2 years ago. Like off a torn ACL. And like that's like the only thing people know Io Manor for.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it is the only thing he's known for. But the model likes Io Manor because there's a qualifier in the model for nothing cheap. And guys like Luther Burden or LaVisca Chenault or whatever, who just like feast on 40% of their targets behind the line of scrimmage, it's like they get dinged in the model. And guys like Io Manor, who had 2 screen targets his entire career, that matters. And when you he only had 900 yards or 800 yards the last 2 years. He basically had the exact same season twice. If anybody looks at his game logs, you're like, oh, same contested catch rate, same amount of targets, same amount of yards. Dude, Stanford, people talk about it with Loveland sometimes that Michigan's offense was just so bad passing the ball that Loveland was like 40% of the offense. Go look at Stanford's passing production this year and tell me that 800 yards or 900 yards isn't impressive based on what they did.
Yeah, Stanford's bad. They're just awful. Are they in the ACC?
They were Pac-12 team before everything shifted. I don't remember.
But are they an ACC team? I don't even know what conference.
They shifted everything, so I'm all confused now.
I have no clue. I have no clue. Okay, I'm an historic Isaiah Bond hater. Are you in Isaiah Bond? What's like? Do you like him at all or no?
Hook him. I do not.
Yeah, I don't. I don't like him at all. I don't think he's a good receiver. He didn't even run that fast. So, all right,
No.
thank you, Dylan. I need to know that. Thank you.
There we go. Yeah, wide receiver might not be the play here. It's pretty gross.
Yeah. Well, one guy I do like at this range is Noel. I do. Yeah, I love Noel.
I do like me some Royals too. I worry about draft capital a little bit. I'd be cool with grabbing a pure handcuff like Corum here if you wanted to do something like that. We have I think a pretty balanced running back core as far as archetypes that we have in touches. We could go for a pure handcuff. I'd be cool going to rookie too. Can
I interest you in RJ Harvey?
RJ, I mean, I'd have a hard time pulling the trigger above Gordon of the 2 rookies that you have listed there, but I like Harvey too. I'm cool with either one.
Let's do Harvey because I have too much Ollie Gordon. I have too much, and I was all pre-combine, and he's a lot cheaper than he is now than when I was taking him. But this is good because we need some Ollie Gordon life because I was on the train. The train was moving fast. It was like the way I was describing earlier, like Back to the Future Part 3. That train, we were 88 miles an hour thumbing on that.
Unlike Ollie Gordon, by the way.
Unlike Ollie Gordon was not thumbing. He was moving very slow, more like Thomas the Tank Engine. But why do you like Ollie Gordon? Because I like RJ Harvey. I've always liked RJ Harvey over Ollie Gordon, pretty kind of like just as a player. But sell us the dream of why Ollie Gordon's not dead. Because I think me and the audience needs to hear it.
It's getting hairy for me too, for what it's worth. And so because my model does favor some best season production numbers, Gordon's 2023 boosts his profile up a little bit because if you show it once, you should be able to show it again. However, after he showed his Doak Walker award-winning self, he decided to drive with, tequila bottles in the back of his car. So I tend to think he's a bit of a moron. And which
his coach was fine with, by the way. His coach was like, oh, whatever. Who hasn't? He literally said who hasn't, pretty much.
That's not great. I tend to think that he's not going to get drafted high because he's a bit of a moron. So I don't actually really worry about his tape that much because I actually think there's moments on tape. And I mean, I don't love that he had a down season this year. I don't love that he looked slower this year and all this kind of stuff. But I think if he isn't a moron and he does work hard, he can get back to 2023 Ollie Gordon. However, I think he might be a moron, and I think he's going to go in round 6 because of it or something.
Yeah. So I'll show you this. So we're still kind of doing this thing. We've watched a lot of running backs on stream. I'll just live stream. I'll pull out some highlights. I'll get demonetized. I'm not even on 1,000 subs yet, so I don't even care. What are they going to do? Take the money I don't earn? So I don't care. But we watched a lot of running backs on stream, and we have a rankings, and this is just like film pretty much. It's not, it's pretty much just film, and I'll show you kind of what we got. This is nowhere near final. We're still kind of whatever, but so we have Ollie Gordon 2023 tape at number 3, and then we have Ollie Gordon 2024 tape at 25.
Yeah, he's pretty bad in 2024.
Yeah. So, and I struggle with this one a lot, but the one is like I put Judkins over Henderson, and also too, I do want to talk about it. He already went, but I wanted to talk about it because your running back video gave me some like, okay, I'm not crazy on Cam Scatterbo. I have him ranked over Caleb Johnson. I love Cam Scatterbo. Just like when I watch him, I'm like, he does everything better than Caleb Johnson, other than like speed and like size. And now the speed thing, Cam Scatterbo might run a faster 40 than Caleb Johnson at this point, to be honest. So I don't know, but I love Scatterbo. Okay, let's pick here, and then we'll talk about Scatterbo because I want to hear your thoughts on him. All right, who do you like?
So I like Royals the most of the wide receivers. That would be my selection here.
Let's go Royals. I got 20%. Noel, we're fine on that. Let's get it. Let's get a Royals share.
Royals model and myself film wise, he looks like a little bit bigger version of Jaden Reed to me when I watched him. So I like the upside. I mean, he's a small school guy, so you never know with these dudes how well it's going to translate. But I do think what he showed on film translates most of the time. Yak stuff, he's able to separate. He's probably going to have a little bit of a learning curve. I would say we see this every year. There's a couple prospects I never want to see get injured in training camp just based on what they were in college. Xavier Legette was a perfect example of this last year. He was raw. He needed every second of that development. So the fact that he got hurt in training camp was not good for his development. And Jalen Royals, please don't get hurt in training camp. We need you to be on the field in training camp. Otherwise, you might be a 2026 problem for us. So, hopefully he's able to get on the field. Small school guys, raw prospects, if I ever use those words, don't get hurt in training camp, please.
Yeah. And the flip side of that, where it's like a guy like Coker, benefited from Legette being out, and then like he just kept making plays, made his way in the field. Now he's like a draftable guy who's like could be a really like exciting just overall weapon this year, which is kind of fun for Coker. So I like Coker. I think
dude. I'm a mean cokehead with with Jalen Coker. Dude, I had him. You guys are going to freak out when you hear this. I had a higher film grade on Jalen Coker than Ricky Pearsall last year. He went
I love it. I love it, dude. I love it. Okay. 2572. Okay. We could go Rogers. Do we have any? I get it.
Later
what about, like Dart?
Dart or Mill? I love me some Milrow. I'd probably just wait on him.
Okay, I don't take a lot of Milrow, so that's fine. We go Besh for another receiver, running back wise. Brashard, Chubb, Rocket Sanders is down here.
Rocket Sanders is like holy crap! I can't believe he's on the board still.
He's like round 20. He's a round 20 guy.
Yeah, so he's Ollie Gordon, but like not an idiot. I think
he's Ollie Gordon with like unbelievable. Was it his true sophomore season?
Yeah.
True sophomore season, unbelievable at Arkansas. Then the next year, hurt, sucks, whatever. South Carolina, fine. Like he was fine. Like
I think his tape was underrated this year, personally.
We just watched. Let me see. What do we comp him to? Because we just watched him like a couple days ago. Rocket Sanders. I have faster, bigger, and this is I have Zach Moss, but like faster, bigger. So he's a better version of like, it's the body type of Zach Moss, kind of what I had. And then the low end comp I had was faster Braylon. That's kind of a weird comp, but I did like Rocket Sanders. I think his tape is fun. And I agree. I think there's some stuff in there where it's like, also too, like, what the fuck does he weigh?
He played 230 guaranteed.
Yeah, because he looked that big, but what he weighed in the comment? Like, I think people
220, 219, something like that.
One of my biggest, like, I would say, like, pet peeve. I don't even know if it's a pet peeve. The weight stuff where it's like, oh, they were whatever at the combine. That's their playing weight. Like, these guys' weights must fluctuate so much between in season, out of season, going to the combine because you just want
Senior Bowl to combine. We have like Tootin was 211 at the Senior Bowl and 206 at the combine. Like players slim down just from the Senior Bowl, even let alone from the regular season. Like Taj Brooks. Taj Brooks played 230. I guarantee you he played 230, and he literally weighed like 217 at the combine.
That's it, because they want to run fast. That's why they do it, because they want to run fast most of the time. Or it's just like they're just training a different way. Like people get hung up on the weights where it's like, oh, he weighed in 200 at the combine. He's a satellite back. Like, dude, I don't think that's. I think weight overall is just like, unless you're like Tez Johnson or something like that, or like, one of these other smaller running backs, then it matters. But like, I get the weight thing, workhorse size, but like in today's NFL, it's like one of the things, like, remember when Jameer was coming out, everyone's like, oh, he's 200. He's not going to be a 3-down guy. And maybe he's not really right now, but he definitely was when Montgomery went out and he was just fine. So.
Yeah, I've whiffed on a couple small backs. I'm starting to care less about weight too. Buck, I was not high on Bucky last year. I liked the film, but I was like, I don't know what his ceiling is.
His speed was awful. So
thankfully, I corrected myself on Achane because I was like, okay, if anybody can use this guy properly, it's going to be Mike McDaniel. So I got a lot of Achane as a result. But yeah, Kyron, too small, slow, no way he was going to hit, and then he ends up burning me pretty big. So. Yeah, small backs are something that I worry about. My comp for Raheem Sanders was Jetpack Ramondre Stevenson.
I like that comp.
The receiving ability part of Raheem Sanders is pretty underrated to me. I think he's actually a very solid receiver for his size, and Besh goes, and that really sucks.
Man.
Ugh. I mean, Darius Slayton, do we chase the bag here?
Darius Slayton, you could do that. I like Trey Tucker as a late round guy too.
Kayshawn's not awful here either.
Yeah, we could go Malik with our Miami. We kind of wouldn't be the worst. Tight end wise, we could take one of the rookies, Taylor Arroyo.
Yeah, I'd be cool going Arroyo if you want.
Let's go Arroyo.
That's back.
Yeah. Tyler Warren, Andrews, and Arroyo. That sounds fun.
Do we have any quarterbacks left on the board that are interesting?
Russ, Daniel Jones, okay. Kirk, Milrow.
So can I fire off a Milrow rant real quick?
I love it because I haven't heard any Milrow rants, so let's do it.
So here's my thought on Milrow. This is more of a dynasty take, but it would apply to best ball as well. Jalen Milrow, all we have to be is wrong on a quarterback, which is what we consistently are about quarterback prospects. And I'll give you a reason why I don't think I'm wrong on him. Dude, the guy literally shredded the University of Georgia in a level that we have not seen since CJ Stroud. Absolutely cooked the University of Georgia when he played them. Oh, the Michigan games. Oh, like, he's inconsistent. I get that. He's a young quarterback. He was surprisingly pretty solid from the pocket on the film that I watched in terms of his like presence from the pocket, ability to handle pressure, those type of things. 85 plus PFF rushing grade, 800 plus yards in 2 straight years, 10 plus rushing touchdowns in 2 straight years, over 6 yards a carry. You know how many quarterbacks have done that in the last 20 years? 2. Lamar Jackson and Jaden Daniels.
Yep.
Dude, in the 19th round?
Yeah.
Like, I'll take the swing. He's a 0. Okay, whatever. He's a 19th round pick. Dynasty rookie drafts. Okay, you take him at the late second when the Steelers take him in the 3rd round or whatever. Okay, he's Malik Willis. Who cares?
Yeah.
You swung on a guy who legitimate from a dynasty perspective could legit be the 101 in fantasy.
Yeah. And he feels like one of these guys too, where like if he goes to a bad team, as far as for this year, if he goes to like a team that's like weird at quarterback, like maybe the Saints take a swing on him and whatever, like round 2 or 3 or wherever he ends up going, or something like that. Like it just feels like a Rattler situation. Come in, like he'll be there for the fantasy playoffs, and like in round 20, round 19, that's kind of all we're like. That's a fine bet to make, and a guy who like just do what Joe Milton did when he came in for that weird week 18 game, or you know what I mean? Or it's like, let's go Milrow, let's do it. I got 0 of him, which is interesting. So let's do Milrow.
Dog, like it's not just that he runs. It's not just that we're like, oh, he has good tools. No. Like his tools are as good as Lamar Jackson's. Let's not get it twisted here.
The running is unbelievable. The running is unbelievable.
Yeah. So if he could figure it out as a passer, and here's the thing. I'm not a quarterback scout. Nobody is, first of all. Everyone sucks at this. So I'm going to give my best shot, just like Kuiper's been doing this for 45 years, still can't evaluate quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Jalen Milrow's biggest flaws, in my estimation, are his footwork. And that was what people said about Drake May. It's also what people have said about Josh Allen, and also what people have said about Jalen Hurts. If you can fix accuracy issues, which is his biggest problem, via footwork, and you can't teach the fact that he was the academic Heisman, which means he's intelligent enough to learn how to fix his problems. And he also, by all accounts, go search right now. If you guys have AI overview, it's the best thing ever created for Google. Search Jalen Milrow character. And it's like a million articles about how he's the best teammate in the world. The last time I heard this about a quarterback who could run the ball really well, it was Jalen Hurts. So I'm starting to get pilled by the Jalen Milrow hive a little bit. And it's simply because I watched him absolutely dissect LSU and Georgia with ease. And I was like, dude, it's not just that he runs the ball well. He runs the ball exceptionally well. And when he's asked to pass the ball, he can sit in the pocket, take a hit, deliver the ball with excellent arm talent. If Malik Willis was a year younger and played in the SEC his entire career instead of having to go to Liberty and beat the crap out of bad competition. He is somewhere on the spectrum from Malik Willis to Jalen Hurts. The question is, how far is he close to which player?
Yeah. Hey, let a naysayer know, baby. Let a naysayer know.
Yeah, I have to.
There you go. All right, we got one pick left here. I'm glad we got Milroe. I don't know why I had 0% of him, so I'm glad we got at least one share. Real quick too, if you're watching right now, make sure you drop a like on the live stream. Also, make sure if you're new around here, drop a sub. We are 12 subs away from 1,000. At 1,000 subs, we are doing the Hot Ones Wing Challenge. We have our Hot One sauces right here. We will be doing 10 wings, 10 sauces, 20 rounds of drafting. This is all the Bomb Beyond Insanity's in here. Let me put this up more. There we go. The Bomb Beyond Insanity, last tab. If you watch Hot Ones, it's the official whatever season they're on sauces. So we'll be doing that. So make sure you drop a sub on the channel. We're so close to 1,000. Okay. Probably receiver here for the last pick. I think it's Tucker Washington here personally. Or Horton, maybe. I don't know if you like any of the other rookie guys.
Yeah, I mean, Horton's interesting. I'll let you make the call here. I don't really have a preference.
Go Tucker. I think he's just like, right now he's wide receiver 2, and he's a deep threat. And he's like their only deep threat, really, unless it's a jump ball to Brock Bowers against the Broncos. But yeah, all right, this is the team. So we got Dak, Tua, Milroe, Brees, Judkins, Tank, Rashad White, RJ Harvey, Rocket Sanders, CD, Tyreek, Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle, Igbuka, Isle Manor, Jalen Royals, Trey Tucker, and then we got Warren, Andrews, and Arroyo. All right, let me go. I'm very bad about naming these. I need to. We gotta wait for the draft to end before I can name it. Or can I? It doesn't let you do it right there.
Yeah, I have an intrusive thought about Audric Estime, by the way.
Let's hear it. Is
Audric Estime getting Zamir White his way into starting for the Broncos next year? Where we're like, we all expected the Raiders to draft somebody and they didn't last year.
Dude, there's no way Estime's the starter. There's a 0% chance. I refuse to believe it. He's not going to. There's no way.
My model actually really liked him last year.
They were like the number 1 defense last year. It's like, dude, draft a playmaker for the love of God in the first 3 rounds. Draft 2 of them, actually.
They'll draft a bunch of receivers and tight ends and not draft a running back until like the 7th round. And we're going to be like, I guess Estime is like a 9th round pick now.
Yeah, well, I thought Warren could have been the Broncos could have been the Warren team. So I was like, oh, but now they got Ingram. So, I mean, they could still do it, I guess.
It could be the Loveland team, I think, still, too.
It could be the Loveland team. But now it's like, it feels like, are they going to, feels like they should go offense in the first round. Offensive playmaker in the first round. I forget what they're picking, like 20s or something like that.
Picking Buka. Like, he's such a perfect fit. He played the big slot role year 1, and then he's your number 1 receiver long term. Like, we did it in our mock draft. I put Igbuka to the Broncos. I'm like, I've never wanted something more in my life than Igbuka to the Broncos.
I'd be fine with that. Totally fine with that. All right. Hey, I appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you so much for blessing us with your presence and your rookie takes. I might have to draft more Milroe now. You kind of convinced me. Yeah, I'm kind of in.
He's literally not being drafted in most of these drafts. So to me, that says a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in. I'm definitely in. So, yeah, again, you guys go sub to Fantasy Stock Exchange. Follow him on Twitter. Those both of those are in the description of this video. So make sure you go do that. What else you got to plug? Anything else?
Yeah. So the site flockfantasy.com, promo code FSE is how you can access that. My dynasty rookie rankings, my redraft rankings once it's redraft and best ball time. I mean, I'm not as much of a sicko as Tyler here. I don't usually start thinking about redraft until after the NFL draft, but all that stuff is available there. First 30 prospects in the Dynasty Rookie Guide is live right now. The 2nd edition, I'm finishing while I'm here, and that will be live April 1st. So I was going to do like, we'll update it with the combine information, but then half the good prospects didn't feel like testing. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just wait till after the pro days, get everything fully up to date, add in 30 more prospects, including one Jalen Milroe, who may or may not rank above Shadur Sanders in my quarterback ranking.
Boy.
If I was an NFL team and I'm going to spend a late first round pick on one of these quarterbacks, give me the one that can be the best in the league.
Okay, real quick then. You think Shadur goes late first? Not like top 5 like everyone's kind of projecting him to go?
I don't think an NFL team is that stupid, personally.
Okay.
No offense. I mean, Shadur is a good prospect. He can throw the ball very accurately. He's got a good deep ball, sees the field really well. But like, so does Derek Carr. Like, I don't see him as like a needle moving quarterback unless he gets significantly more athletic or mobile or a better arm all of a sudden. Like, if I had to rank the arms in the NFL, he's probably like 27th. So,
yeah,
I look at Shedeur and I'm like, I don't think a team's going to be that stupid to be like, yeah, this is our guy, second overall, Cleveland Browns or whatever. I mean, maybe the Browns are that stupid, but if they're going to do it, I think it would make more sense to take his teammate first and then trade into the first round to get him.
100%. Well, hey, thanks for coming on, man. I would normally do this other outro, but the Minnesota Timberwolves do play basketball today. So we will do our Timberwolves outro. Thank you guys for hanging out with us again. Toss a like, toss a sub, both of our channels. You know the deal. Go do it and do it proudly. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Probably live sometime tomorrow evening. So we'll see you then. Peace. Whoops. God.